What's going on, guys? Car review guys here. My name is AJ, and this week we have the 2024 Toyota Prius Prime XSE, and I'm gonna keep it straight with you. I'm a supercar owner, and I never ever thought I would, one, say a Prius looks good, and number two, would actually consider owning one. This generation has changed that completely for me. And I think if you're not too close-minded, you're gonna see just for yourself, and you may be changing your opinion as well, because we have a lot in store with this. If you're new to my channel, we are going to start with a cinematic and then go through the exterior. We're gonna talk about stats, figures, all that kind of thing. Then we're gonna jump to the interior, and then we're gonna be taking it on a drive. And as a quick sneak peek, the 0 to 60 on this has improved from the previous generation by 35%. That's right, we have a 0 to 60 of under 7 seconds. Pretty impressive for a vehicle that gets around 50 mpgs or more, with this Prime being the plug-in. So without further ado, let's jump right on in to this review. Let's roll. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that cinematic. Let's go over some of the stats and figures. So, starting, this Prius Prime is a plug-in hybrid pushing 220 horsepower. Transmission comes in an eCVT. The Prime comes in front-wheel drive. If you go to the normal Prius, you can get an optional all-wheel drive. Curb weight is around 3,516 pounds, which is going to push this XSE Prime from 0 to 60 in about 6.6 seconds, which, like I've already stated, is very impressive. That is a 35% roughly increase from the previous generation. Now, gasoline only average, you're looking at 48 mpgs, and then with electric combined, you're at 114 mpges, and your fuel tank size is around 10.6 gallons. On electric use only, you can get up to around 44 miles. Overall dimensions, your length is 15.1 feet, width is around 5.8 feet, and your height is 4.7 feet. And definitely it shows it is very sleek. Pricing starts around $32,975 for the SE Prime. Tester today is $42,659. That is, of course, including the destination charge. Now that we've taken a walk around the outside and gone over some of the stats and figures, let me just point out some of the things you may or may not have seen. Now, LED headlamps, LED runners, and they are definitely unique. And if you look at this, as already stated, when it's coming at you, it is a sleek looking car. It actually looks pretty aggressive. Now, this does have the optional panoramic view camera, as you can see here. That is one of them, so you get your full 360, which is pretty good quality. You have parking sensors in the bumper, as you can see there. The XSE does also look sharp. I like the two-tone wheels. And then this is Guardian Gray. If you are wondering, there are several other options as well to choose from if this is not the color for you. This vehicle also has the optional solar panel roof. Hopefully you can see that there. You can see the grids in it. Now, as far as stats and figures on that, how much does it actually charge? I gotta be honest with you, I will probably put that further in the video, because at this very moment, I actually don't even know that myself, but I will find out and you will know in this video. Now, Continuing on around, it does have keyless entry there on the front door. And then on the rear, you're not even going to see a door handle. It is actually right here. If you had a dead battery, this is a physical button that you can push for basically like a manual release. Continuing on around to the rear, I love that basically all the badging is like a very, very dark gray. It almost honestly just looks black. And then you have more cameras back here. You have a backup camera plus the camera for 360, and I believe one of them is for the optional digital rear view mirror, which my tester does have. Now, right beside it is the button to pop the hatch, and it is a power hatch, which I find that very nice. There is a good bit of usable space back here. I will put the actual cubic feet here on the screen for you. It's nice and wide. You can fit golf bags long ways, which is nice if you are a golfer like myself. And of course, this shade does pull out and the seats will fold down. So if you need more cargo space, that is an option. If you are new to this channel, I do test getting in every vehicle. I am 5'9", if you are wondering. And this vehicle, as already stated, is low. Like you can see, I'm 5'9", and if I put this basically level, the car is quite a bit below me. So it is going to take some ducking. And if you're also new to this channel, you will know I have a bulging disc, and we're trying to get through it. It is a long healing process, but I definitely have more movement today than I have had previously. But this is probably not going to be all that easy for me because it's so low. So if I hold it up a little bit higher, I'm ducking a good bit. Oh man, yeah, definitely not that easy for me at the moment. Oh, things we do for you all to see. Now, once you're in here, it's pretty decent actually. Again, 5'9". I've probably got 1.5 inches up there roughly in between. And then this is where my seat sits to drive. Probably a good 2 inches somewhere in there. Pretty cozy back here. And then here you've got 2 cup holders and an armrest. And then up in front of you, you've got several different chargers down there and optional heated rear seats. Just need to touch on door materials very quickly. Where your elbow touches and rests, it is a nice soft, I don't know if you can see the indentions there from me pressing, and then the rest of it is pretty hard back here on the rear. All right, testing the front, which I have obviously been in previously, it is still a little bit lower to the ground, so I do find myself ducking a little bit. Nowhere near like the rear though, and then plenty of headspace here in the front. I don't know, 4 inches roughly there. And then obviously I sit wherever I sit. That's up to you all. And it does have memory seating, which is located over here on the door. You probably also saw that in the cinematic. Touching on door materials, this is a definitely softer material on the front door. It's kind of like rubberized almost here. And then this is like a soft leather where the elbow touches, which is nice. Switches feel a little more premium. They don't have any wiggle to them. They have little bezels. You guys know I like my bezels. Over here on the left, you do have your heated steering wheel. You can do automatic high beams if you would like. You have some ambient lighting in there. You can probably see it flickering, which is just camera refresh rate, not doing that in person. Out in front of us, that honestly almost feels like a heads-up display with the way they have designed it. It is nice and clear camera, that it's just so bright right now you're probably not seeing it too well. And then a nice big screen over here, pretty standard for Toyota Lexus products nowadays. You can click the navigation map, and of course now you have navigation as well. You have one knob over here for your volume. Heated seats, cooled seats. It is a single zone. I would like to see a dual zone in here, but nonetheless, that's what you have. Over here, you do have the parking assist, which basically for like parallel parking or even just backing into a spot, you can click that, follow the directions, and it will put you in the spot. It does work pretty good. I actually tested that at the event on the regular Prius for press. So, and then for the panoramic view, you can click this button. And if I can get the lighting, hopefully it's not too bad of a reflection. Like I said, panoramic view, you can see quite well, and the camera quality is very much improved for Toyota products, because previously, you guys all know, it's no secret, they were pretty grainy, but definitely improved, so good job by Toyota there. Down below, you do have a couple of USB-Cs, and then I always call it a cigarette lighter, even though it is not. It's old school. And then down below, you've got a little cubby down below there as well. 2 cup holders, and it's nice because they're away from the buttons a little bit, so you can see there's plenty of space in between to hit any buttons you would need to. Up above us, we have an optional digital rear view mirror. If you don't like it, simply just flip it, and if you really don't like it, don't order it with the vehicle. Doesn't affect you. Home link underneath it for your garage door. And then the visors are kind of like a hard plastic. I'm not a huge fan of that material. Nonetheless, there you go with a little mirror and LED lighting on the interior. Down here is a little shifter. You're going to find this in Lexus products as well, like the NX350 as an example. You have some different drive modes, and then here you have a wireless phone charger. There are also hidden eggs throughout this vehicle. Just one of them down at the bottom, it says hashtag wireless charger. Probably not the easiest for you guys to see, but it is there. And then we have a pretty small center console that maybe would fit one tissue box, but I'm not even sure about that, to be 100% honest. As far as the passenger seat goes, it is a manual adjust. It is not power like the driver's side. And just taking a quick look at the steering wheel before we take it on a drive, you're going to notice your lane centering. You have your set button there, and then your adaptive cruise control right there. Mode for, you know, whatever you want to listen to, and seeking, and then over here is all of your menus for out in front of you, and then your volume toggle switch is there. I think that's about it for the interior. Like I said, it has a lot of features now. Heated steering wheel, heated seats, cooled seats, optional 360 camera. You have your optional digital rear view mirror, heated rear seats. Like, there's a lot in this thing now, and they didn't used to be that way, so definitely nice. Let's get it out on the road to see how it drives. So my first impression of this vehicle, as far as driving it, like the very first thing I noticed is whenever I sat down in the driver's seat. And some of you are going to call me crazy, and that's fine. Obviously, I drive pretty much a new vehicle every single week, so I'm in and out of these different vehicles. And I also know, as a, we'll call it to the side, that I don't always review, but I own a supercar myself, and I absolutely love supercars. Like, that is really who I am. Like, if I could pick a vehicle, it's going to be a supercar 9 out of 10 times. And my first impression was this windshield. The way that it is sloped and the way it is just, it feels wide. Honestly, and I know it sounds crazy, I understand that, this is as close to a Lamborghini Huracan that I've sat in, period. Like, that's pretty wild. Like, let's be real. A Toyota Prius feeling like a Huracan, just from the stance, like, that's it. It was wild. So that was my very first impression. Second impression is how much more refined this generation is over the previous generation. Like, the only noise you really hear for the most part is tire noise. That's the only thing that I really hear. As far as wind noise, don't hear much of that. It's just the tires that have any kind of noise, honestly. And it's not like it's bad, but it is present and you can't hear. My third impression, if you will, is how quick this thing is. Like, you got to understand, this is a vehicle, right, that is made really for a commuter and gas mileage. That's what this vehicle is made for. That is what it's made for. This went from like a roughly 10.1 or 10.2, 0 to 60, and now it's down to a 6.6. Like, that's wild. And I just want to be clear on something. I've said this in other reviews, so if you're not new to this channel and you watch my channel all the time, I apologize. You're probably tired of hearing this. I don't get paid by these OEMs. I can say what I want to say. So that's just me being 100% honest, and how impressed this car really does make me. Like, I never would have considered owning a Prius. Honest truth, and the OEM probably doesn't love hearing that, but this vehicle has changed that, because I have looked at purchasing a Prius. I have, being honest. So definitely impressive. Now, let's touch on suspension as we go up here to our cattle guard. We test that in every single vehicle as we have someone just pull right out in front of us. And here we go, noise and suspension. Suspension, good. Head went up and down just a little bit, nice and smooth. That's what I would expect out of this vehicle. As far as sound goes, again, tire noise is probably the only thing I can really hear. Like, here goes another example. You probably couldn't hear that, just to show you some wind noise. Can't really hear it. Now, I've talked about the sloping windshield. What is visibility like? It's still really good. The only thing you kind of have to get used to is these pillars are so far out in front of you. Just make sure that you're paying attention, but they're pretty skinny, so you don't really have to worry about that. As far as looking behind us, the pillar's a little bit thick, but it's far forward enough that you can easily see through the rear window. No problem there. And of course, this vehicle is equipped with blind spot monitoring if you have any issues. As far as the different drive modes, we have custom, sport, normal, and eco. I generally find myself in normal majority of the time. You can, of course, go into eco if you really want to. I just don't love it because it really does pull back your throttle response and everything. Again, it's a Prius. You're really looking at getting gas mileage and having a commuter. So maybe that's where you find yourself. I really find myself still getting really good gas mileage and very happy with throttle response in normal. Let's touch on the lane centering. Let's set our cruise control and let's test it out. As far as lane centering goes, Toyota always does a really good job. You should always have your hands on the wheel, but it does a good job if you need to get like a drink of water or something like that without having to be crazy and like drive with your knee or whatever. Let's test the suspension here, taking a turn at 22, accelerating in, and really good, really good. I don't really feel any body roll. This vehicle's fairly low to the ground for like an everyday commuter, and it feels wide enough. Like, it feels pretty planted, which never thought I would be saying that on a Prius, because I have definitely driven previous generations and that is not my feedback. This vehicle, however, has changed that. This vehicle has such a wide variety of use now. It is impressive. If there is anything that I am missing, feel free to comment down below. Again, supercar owner perspective on driving a vehicle I never thought would be. Speaks for itself, right? It really does look good now, and it drives really well. I am super impressed with how it drives. Not only throttle response, but handling as well. You could even actually, dare I say, have fun driving this Toyota Prius. If there's anything I'm missing, again, comment down below. I try to respond to every single person. We are almost to 20,000 subscribers. Thank each and every one of you. But just like that, this video is over, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.